Hello, and welcome to another McGonigal Library Virtual Tech Camp. Today, we're going to be working with Adobe Premiere Pro, and to start off, you're going to need a subscription to either Adobe Creative Cloud or to Premiere Pro itself, individually. It's going to cost a bit less just to subscribe to Premiere Pro. I have the whole Adobe suite, but it's up to your personal preference if you want to even get Premiere in the first place. It's a very in-depth and challenging workplace for editing. However, if you can master it, it is one of the most useful and has some of the most capabilities out of any video editing software that there is out on the market today. And so there are some free versions, but they will come with fewer capabilities as Premiere. Today, though, a lot of what we're going to talk about is pretty rudimentary, and it's just going to give you kind of an overview of what's available in Premiere and what you can do. If you have experience with Adobe Photoshop, a lot of the setup of this program will be similar to Photoshop, as well as other photo editing softwares. But if you'd like to get into video editing, Premiere is a very fantastic place to go. You can start out slow and really dive deep into all the opportunities and capabilities it has for you. So before we get into any of the video editing part of it, let's talk about this main workspace area. So in the top left here, we have our control center for our effects and some things called lumetri scopes, which we're not going to talk about today, source for the video, and a audio clip mixer for the audio clips of the videos we will be working with. And so this effect control is based off of the effects over here, which we can add to our video clip. And there's a whole lot of effects available to us. Audio effects, audio transitions, video effects, and video transitions, which is kind of a mixture of different, as for the audio, the effects are more kind of making the audio sound different with reverb, echo, filters, modulating the sound a little bit to make it just sound a bit different. And audio transitions are mixing options for just like having crossfade, having it go in between two different audio clips easily and seamlessly. In terms of video effects, there are just a huge assortment of video effects, from distorting the video in certain ways, and we might look at a couple of those today, as well as keying, which is kind of moving in between two different video clips in specific ways, changing perspective, stylizing, and then video transitions, which is just going to be kind of going in between two different videos, just like the audio transitions. So in this space right here, this is going to be where we're going to preview our video and what's going on in there. And that's in here is our timeline, which is going to show all of the media that we have dropped in. And that's where we're going to be doing our editing, our clipping, moving around of the different pieces. And right here in the bottom left is where we're going to have our imports, what we're going to import into this project. So by project, I mean what we have open right now. And so in Adobe Premiere, you open up a project, and then you're going to import either video files, picture files, audio files, music, all that kind of stuff, and you're going to compile it all together into this import here, and that's going to be in this whole project. And then the project is what kind of holds all the effects, the mixture of videos, photos, music, audio, everything that is going on in the video. And so you're going to export that project, or save that project, and then export the video from the project, which is just going to, Adobe is going to compile everything that you've put together and make it into one long video that is just kind of locking all those pieces together that you are putting into the project. So right now we're just going to import a pretty basic file, just a video of the Earth. And what I did there was just drag and drop my file down into this timeline. And so here is where we can see our timeline. And this is where we can see the preview of our video. So I'm just going to click this play button, and it's going to preview the video for us. So you're going to see the Earth is spinning counterclockwise, and that's really all it is. There's no audio, so if you can see this straight line here, this would show the audio of a video, and since there is no audio, you can't really see any of the audio files. On the left side, there is the listing for each of the file lines that you have here, which will essentially allow you to pile on different files into a single video. So let's say I had a different file. So let's say I had another file, and I'm just going to import it from here the same way we did before. So click on that, import the file, and I'm going to drag and drop this file of someone at the beach onto here. And so now in our timeline, we can see that we have one file, which is the Earth spinning, and then the other file, which is just the woman on the beach. And when you have a video file on top of another one, that is going to cover up the ones below it. So if we had another one on top of this, it would cover up those. But since I don't want anything to be covered up, I'm going to just hold down and select these and move it over until it'll lock and line up with this. So we're going to have this video, and then it's going to cut into here. Now let's say I wanted to cut out a certain section of this video. What I'm going to do is drag my slider, and I want to get closer, so in this bottom bar I can just drag this to zoom in pretty close, and it'll give me some markings of time on the timeline. And so I'm going to cut from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. So I'm going to grab my eraser tool here. I can also click C to select it, and I'm going to cut right there. And then I'm also going to drag it over to here, cut right there. Perfect. And then I'm going to grab back my selection tool, select this sample, and then cut it. And then I'm going to pull this back, and I can pull these back as well. So there we go. Now, when I play this, we're going to see that cut from the previous edits. And so you can also select the view, so like what you would like to view in the timeline, if you'd like to view only certain sections. So like let's say I have this lined up, but I don't want to see it. I can click that I toggle track the output, and so I can either not see it or see it just in our preview. And if I wanted this over, I could do that as well. So what we can also do is trim our video in different ways just by dragging the edge and trimming it down just like that. We can also change the speed of the video file as well, which goes into the video effects that we were talking about before, where I'm going to just select right here. I'm going to cut right in this space and then cut right about there and select this. And so what I'm going to do here is right click, and it's going to give me a ton of options for what I can select. And I'm going to select now let me find it, speed / duration, right in the middle there. And so here you can select different types of speed. So if I wanted this to move at 50 or let's say 200% speed, twice as fast, I can click OK, and that's going to, you see this little FX symbol, that is signifying the effects that we have on our video. And so if we have this play, it'll go at normal speed and then speed up a little bit and then slow down. And so let's say I want a little bit of it to go in reverse. I can click here and then click here, and we're going to chop that part. And in here, I'm going to do the same thing. Click speed duration, and I'm going to just hit reverse speed. And that is going to reverse this audio or this video file. So if we play it from the beginning, it's going to go at normal speed, slow down a little, or speed up a little bit, and then go in reverse, and then go back. And so you can see the effects, the kind of the timeline of the effects that we have going on here. So we have our controls of the effects that are happening at any point in time. So in this one, you can see, let's look here, effect controls. Oh, let me select this. There we go. So this is letting us affect the video, and so I can also affect some other aspects of the video. Maybe in the position, I can shift the video position in different directions, as well as the scale of the video. And I want uniform scale, or I can adjust the scale width, which is just scaling it to the rest of the videos that are in the file and the file itself. You can also rotate the file as much as you want. This is just going to just add some rotation to your file, and you can reset it with those buttons on the side. So I'm just going to add a little bit of rotation, and we can see if we can preview that. So there's some weird scoping things going on there in here. If you saw with my scale that I changed in my position, and say I want to position it, I'm going to just reset these positions, reset the scale, reset the rotation. But now you can see in my rotation, let's just rotate it. Let's see, you can see in the preview the rotation of what's going on here. But I'm going to just rotate it 90 degrees. Perfect. And if you want to just put in a certain number, double click, and you can enter in 180. I'm going to bring it back to 90. There we go. You can also, from these effect folders, drag and drop different effects. So let's see. We're going to grab a distort effect, and I'm going to drag this onto my little sample there. You can see that, again, that FX is lit up. So what I'm going to do here in my effect controls is select the at the bottom, the mirror section, and I'm going to drag over my timeline here so I can see this space and I can see what is happening to my reflection. And so I'm going to select the reflection angle first just to see where this reflection is. So I want it to be at 45 degrees. So it's going to mirror directly that way. And so what I'm going to do here as well is you can select both the horizontal and vertical location. It looks about the same just due to how the positioning, how the mirroring works. Let's say I bring it to 60 degrees. It'll be a bit easier to see the vertical position change, the horizontal position change. So I'm going to bring this back to, let's just say 20 degrees. And I'm going to bring this in here, and just like that. So now we have a little bit of a mirroring effect, and so if we play it, we can see that effect appear in our timeline. There's also some other effects. One that is pretty common, or I guess the transition effect is or the transitions are what we're going to talk about, which is just transitioning between two different video files. And since I'm just adjusting this space here, since our videos are going to be playing at separate times, we don't really need them to be in separate video lines, so we can line up these videos together as well. So I'm going to add in a video transition. I'm just going to add in a dissolve transition, and I'm just going to stick it in right across dissolve, right in here. And so that's going to, if we play this, there we go. So it's just going to slowly fade out one and fade in another. We can also do it in between the same clip if we have different sections. So let's say I want to add in a page peel transition, so I'm just going to add one in right there, and that's going to go in between the two, and so you can see the different effects that are going on while we have our transitions. You can even see this red bar, which is kind of showing where we have some of the editing going on with our effects at this point. So it's kind of up to you on what you'd like to do with this, but just really the basis of it is dragging and dropping these onto your files. You can also create a new by going up to File, New, and creating a new file that's just an empty blank space. You can put an effect into that blank space in just the same way that you drag and drop one onto here. And so this is just ways of affecting how your video is going to look. I added this grain. Let's see if I can always add some film grain, kind of grain to the video. And so there's just different effects you can add, and it's up to you on what you want. There's tons of explanations on Adobe's website on what each of these do. You can also do some color editing, not just effects, but color editing, so just kind of changing the color of your video. You can also go into editing, which is what I've been doing, but really more intense on the actual editing the video itself by changing the order and the length of time. Assembly is also just assembling the video in specific ways, so it makes it a bit easier to see your imports, get things dropped in there. And then learning has some great places for learning different tutorials, getting the basics, and starting to get pretty in-depth onto different parts of Premiere's abilities. You can also go into audio, which will give you all the different audio levels at different times. We only have 3 audio sections right now, but you can add more or add more video files. You can also create graphics using the files you have, or also the templates that are here. It's up to you. There are tons of templates online as well that you can download or purchase from Adobe. Adobe has their own kind of stock templates and different graphics, as well as some libraries for more things for your colors, other imports that you have, other effects, some things that you've done before. You can save them into your libraries, and that's where you're going to get those and use them in other projects if you'd like to. So it's been a bit of an overview of Premiere Pro. I hope you guys are able to get in there. You can also use some other free versions, like WeVideo is a great one online. You don't have to download anything to your computer, so it's pretty easy. As well as Sony Vegas or Apple Movie Maker, which you can get on your Mac or iMac computers. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.